Yo, welcome back to the GM Podcast. I'm Miller, and once again, Gavin cannot be with us today. That's fine. We are filming Saturday. I promise we will have more videos in the studio. But today, I'm giving you guys something a little different. We're going to do another music reaction. The first one, when we started this channel, I did a For All the Dogs Drake review. If you want to go watch that, go ahead. I think it's still up. But today we are going to be reacting to or not reacting, but reviewing CHROMOKOPIA by Tyler, the Creator. And the reason I'm doing this, obviously, is because I love the album. And basically, something new. So obviously, if you're a sports guy and you don't want to listen to this, it's fine. I'll put timestamps in this video so you could skip around to the review at the end, or the ultimate review at the end. And then I'm going to go song by song, break each song down. And yeah, let's go ahead and get into this. First song was St.Chroma featuring Daniel Caesar. This song is the perfect way to start an album. It had rising tension the entire time. Daniel Caesar over the hook. Daniel Caesar is just great. His last album, if you haven't heard it, forgot what it's called. The blue one, it's so good. I listen to that. Like, I feel like for me, I know an album is good when I can remember where I first was when I listened to it. I was on a cruise when I listened to that Daniel Caesar album. Great album. But yeah, just Tyler comes on here talking about just how he never had a doubt that he was going to be great, how generational curses did not apply to him. And I thought this was a great way to get on here and start popping it automatically. And yeah, this album was definitely one of the most personal to Tyler. And you'll see multiple examples of that along the track list. But we go ahead and move on to the second song, which is Rah Tah Tah. There's another upbeat one where he continues to pop it in a way, continues to just tell everybody how good he is. And I'm not mad at it because it came out great once again. So 2 for 2 right now, obviously. It was so good. I mean, just how the beats come in. He used it kind of like on a couple of songs, it sounded like a band, like an HBCU band. That's how this sounded, and the energy was just, it was there. So it wasn't one of my favorites because I kind of like when Tyler is smoother and he shows the vocal inflections that he has, but it was a great song, and it's in my favorites. Third song, we got Noid. This dropped previous to the actual album dropping, or a video dropped. This song is so beautiful. Willow over the hook. I don't know if you guys knew this, but Willow Smith, Willow, who was a great artist herself. If you haven't listened to her, go check her out. But Willow was on the hook, and it was beautiful, beautiful. Beautiful. I mean, that was, and the next song, which some of you know if you're listening to this, had a great feature as well. But Willow was a great feature. He had great vocal features in this album, and once again, I don't want to spoil it if you guys haven't heard it already. But Willow was a great feature, and he's just talking about being paranoid. How all the riches and the cars, how that comes with a certain sense of paranoia because he has to watch his back at every second. Even talking about being paranoid with women and making sure they're not able to trap you. So this was a great song. Yeah, it transitioned from Rah Tah Tah to Noid perfectly. And once again, the vocals on this and how he went from aggressive, talking about how paranoid he was, to the smooth sample, it's just great. Tyler has a way of sonically producing great music. It just sounds good. It sounds right. Next song, my favorite song. Wow, sorry. My favorite song was Darling I. This was a Tizo feature, and Tizo, if Tizo gets on your song, you have a good song. Like, that's just how it is. I forgot what others, he was on a Drake album. He was on another Tyler song, and Call Me If You Get Lost. So just keep falling. I mean, he introduced melodies that you would have never thought would have been in this song. And this is an interesting song concept-wise as well. He talks about how he's kind of like scared to commit, or he doesn't want to commit. He even says like monogamy is not for me. He says a person can't fulfill him like his music does. And it's interesting because in a way it makes sense, because when you hear an album like this and you hear albums that he's made in the past, like Igor and all of them, you kind of see how obsessive he is, because how can you make this music if you're not that obsessive? You know, like Michael Jackson talked about the same thing. He not that, you know, I know he's done some stuff, so don't come at me, but Michael Jackson was obsessive about his music, and sometimes your craft is what can fulfill you more than a person. Which is it's definitely it's a great song because it introduces that perspective. Um, I don't agree. Obviously, I'm not a part of like I enjoy monogamy. I don't see how a person could have a significant other. I could, and it's interesting. I can see how Tyler can be infatuated with different people, and I can see the whole world. I mean, women can be infatuated with different people at different times, and the same thing. So I can see the infatuation aspect of it, but it's kind of like for me, just having that sacred that the partner that can't be touched and you can't be touched. You knowing that you can hold yourself to a sacred point to where you can't be accessed easily. That's personally my opinion, and he thinks that way. Is it the ultimate way to think? In my opinion, no. I'm a big fan of love, and I think that sacred aspect of me being here for only you and you being here for only me is something sacred and special. So Tyler, once again, I don't know, but great song nonetheless. Next song, Hey Jane. Hey Jane. Hey Jane is also one of my favorite songs. He gets on here. It's a rapping track, a chill beat. Tyler, the creator, just knows how to crescendo a song. He knows how to make a song feel like an event. So all of these songs progressively change, or you can feel the energy rise. You stay intrigued the entire time. And this song, he talks about like a pregnancy scare, I believe. Yeah, it's funny. He also introduces a different perspective with this song because he's talking about, well, I understand what this will do to me. I understand that I value freedom. And honestly, I wouldn't want to have this kid. Like, I value freedom and I wouldn't want to be committed to just you. But he understands that it's her body and whatever she wants to do, that's fine. On the other side, she's financially stable already. She doesn't need this guy to stay around. She doesn't want to make him feel like he's forced to stay around. They just want to stay cool at the end of the day. It's an extremely interesting perspective, because most of the time when you're hearing about this stuff, it's negative, like baby mama drama, all that type of stuff. But these two individuals just want to love each other however they want to, without the pressure of it. Stating no pressure at the end of both verses. I mean, if you're a fan of that, like no pressure type of love is it's cool because once again, it feels like you don't have to sacrifice for somebody. You can just be with somebody, be in the present and chill. So once again, I understand this outlook from Tyler. Don't completely agree to the status he does. And he talks about not wanting to have kids in this album later. So we'll get there. Next song, I Killed You by Tyler, the Creator. Now, this song was definitely a confusing one for me at first. I mean, I'm not going to lie to you. I've listened to this album. It's Thursday right now. I probably listened to it like 8 times since it came out Monday. So that's 3 days. That's crazy. But yeah, this song confused me at first, but I had to keep reading the lyrics, understanding. And he's talking about his hair. He's talking about hair mostly in the Black community. It's beautiful how he describes it. He elevates once again. He keeps crescendoing. He talks about at first how he feels like his hair is a threat, how he feels like his hair isn't acceptable in the eyes of, society, and it doesn't live up to what they deem as professional. But later in the verse, he talks about how he doesn't care, how he's gonna let his hair shine because it's a crown. It's the star of the show. And honestly, I'm not gonna say I can relate because, well, no, I can't relate, and this is why. I obviously had hair, a lot of hair, and for me, it felt like it was a part of my identity, right? So there was thoughts of like, was I gonna cut it all the way down where I cut it? Like, but I had to keep this because it's a part of my identity. It was hard to let it go because once again, that hair becomes a part of your identity, especially if you were to grow it, and even if you have a shortcut and it's iconic, like a buzz cut. Some people have a buzz cut. That's an iconic look, and he recognizes that in this song, and it's beautiful. Just showing people that they should appreciate their hair no matter what, however it looks. He's talking about how some Black females we're forced to relax it, which it sucks that in this world we live in, we feel as if we have to appropriate to other people's standards in a way. Not saying that it's a bad move, but the basis of that argument is stating that you have to adhere to someone else's standards. We've talked about it on the podcast with Gav many times. Just be your true self, and we'll get to that in a later song as well. Oh, also Childish Gambino. Oh my God, Childish Gambino on this track. Beautiful. How he came in on the end, and he just said, "You're beautiful" the entire time. Obviously with your hair. Childish Gambino. He brought in so many people that you wouldn't expect, and they just sound so good. Every feature, even though they weren't prominent features, other than like a couple, I think. Who had an actual verse? I know Tizo had moments where he was singing, but Childish Gambino had also the end where he was singing. But it sounded great. Thank you, Gambino, for hopping on this track and doing what you do. All right, next track, Judge Judy. This is a great track, but I am judging Judy. I'm judging Judy for sure, especially based off the content that was in this track. I'm not gonna stay on this because we're trying to keep it PG, and yeah, that song is more on the other side. So great song. Once again, if you're on that, you're on that. But I'm judging Judy. It's crazy woman. Next, Sticky. It's getting sticky. Okay, great song. Great song. When I heard this the first time, because you got to let it build up. It's like he's adding a different instrument every time. So it's the whistle at first. You're just like, okay, where's the beat at? And then he's adding a drum maybe or like a horn. Every single verse. I think when Sexy Red ended, the trumpets just came in blaring louder than ever. And then Lil Wayne gets on the exact verse afterwards, because when Glorilla went at the beginning, Tyler got on the verse after. And look, man, this is an incredible track. Obviously, we would have wanted more time with Glorilla, Sexy Red, and Lil Wayne, especially Lil Wayne. But he was more focused on making his music an event than something for clicks. Like we talk about movies nowadays, how there's like junk food in movies with not a lot of depth. I'm going to watch a Marvel movie where they're just trying to bring fans to the stadium, where they got Spider-Man and Captain America and all these movie stars in one movie. He kind of did that, but he made it still a piece of art. He made these artists that are prominent today, still Lil Wayne still today, he brought them in and made them a part of his art. And that's what I valued from this song. Obviously how he brought it down at the end. Yeah, this is a beautiful song as well as one of my favorites. But next song, we got Take Your Mask Off. This was one of my favorite songs as well. This is just talking about living in your true self. And that's what I was talking about earlier. He introduced three perspectives. The first one was a wannabe gangster. Second one was I believe it was a gay preacher. Third one was a stay-at-home mom who didn't feel like she had fulfilled her identity. It's insane. It's insane how he introduces all these perspectives, and then at the end has an extremely passionate verse, and the person he's talking to is himself. It's amazing. Look, if you want to say whatever you want about Tyler, but I feel like this song in particular is conveying the right message, and it's a problem. He illustrated a lot of problems in this album that we have today in society, and we've talked about it in the video with Micah and Jordan. Just taking your mask off, like just be you, be your true 100% self, because every single person has one quality at least that makes them stand out and makes them intriguing. So I'm glad he made that song. I feel like that was a song that was needed. Daniel Caesar again on the hook, never fails. He never will fail. So great song. Once again, one of my favorites. Track number 10, Tomorrow. He talks about the pressures of having children. And he's just big on living in the present. So this is an important track as well. It was another laid back beat, but it was just Tyler rapping on it the entire time. The message in this song is just, once again, our paths do not align. So how special you think you are, how special you think you aren't, it could flip tomorrow. right? So we all have our separate paths. So God, or in my opinion, we all get put on different paths, right? Whatever you want to do is your life. Whatever you want to do is your life. But don't put those pressures on me because I'm going to live how I want to live. And Tyler is obviously stating in this album he's more obsessed with his craft than he is in starting a family. And people have their own values. People have their own journeys once again. So for him to come out and be honest about this, it's special. And once again, this was a very personal album for him. So I'm glad that he took the opportunity to do that. Next song, Thought I Was Dead. Um, Thought I Was Dead is a great song. It's just the title tells you the story of it. Y'all thought I was dead, like y'all thought I was out of the water. Obviously, Tyler has went on he's went on runs. I think he drops every 2 years, or he was dropping every 2 years for his entire career. Like I think Cherry Bomb was released in, when was Cherry Bomb released? I think Cherry Bomb was released in 2015, and Flower Boy was 2017, Igor 2019, Call Me If You Get Lost 2021. He took a 3 year gap in this one, so I guess they thought he was dead. He comes off this, he's just rapping his butt off. It's a hype song. It's great. There's nothing really to say about that song other than it's great. The horns on this are beautiful. I mean, it makes you feel the intensity of the song, how serious he is. Obviously, he had the dispute with Ian. This, not dispute, but, he called him out earlier in the year. So he's just saying, like, y'all really can't mess with me. And I'll get to that later. But, yeah, next song, Like Him. Jesus Christ. He introduced so many unique concepts that you would never think about in this song. It was amazing. But Like Him, he talks about how, obviously in the intro of the song, the mom is talking and, oh, you look just like your daddy. Oh, you look just, it's interesting because for him, and I can't relate to this, but for him, he had a father that wasn't always present, and he would always be told, oh, you sit just like him. You look just like him. And he listens to it, and then he starts asking the questions in the beginning of the song. Do I look like him? Do I look like? So you're asking that question, but he also illustrates in this song, it was the cards he was dealt. It was the circumstance that he prevailed in. He eventually prevailed in. So the fact that he was never there was never a loss for him. So he just talks about how that's his circumstance, right? He's not worried about that. He even states later in the song, I don't look like him. Don't compare me to that guy because I did this without that guy, and it doesn't matter. So I thought that was it was an impressive take from him. The Keem, and then dun, 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 dun. The way he produced this song is so beautiful. I have like a different favorite song every time, and the way I'm talking about this song right now, you would think it's my favorite. But the vocal inflections on this song, a lot of these songs reminded me of past Tyler, like past. I can go through them right now. St.Chroma was given like Igor, like it felt like Igor's theme. I'm not gonna go through all of them, but there was a lot of Igor that it reminded me of. There was a lot of Call Me If You Get Lost. Like Rah Tah Tah was one of those that reminded me of Call Me If You Get Lost. A lot of Flower Boy on here with Darling I. I mean, Cherry Bomb. I heard a lot of Cherry Bomb was probably the most Tyler this felt, but yeah, I mean, his vocal inflections on this album were impressive. Next song we got Balloon. This was just unapologetic Tyler. Doshi comes on with a great feature. Once again, the content in it, I can't really find myself being hype about it or vibing to it, but I can listen to the song and appreciate it for what it is. I appreciate it for the musical event that it turned out to be. But as far as my listening experience, if it's going to be added to like that best playlist that I have, probably not. But great song nonetheless. I just can't relate to the content as much. Last song, I Hope You Find Your Way Home. In this song, once again, he's just saying, I hope you figure out your truth. I hope you do what you want to do. And that's something else. Like he's not, just make sure that you're living in your truth. So he's saying in this song, which he's been saying, once again, it's the encapsulation of the entire album, that my way isn't your way. The fact that I don't want to have kids has nothing to do with you. The fact that I don't want to stay monogamous has nothing to do with you, but it's what it is. And he found his way. He is a Grammy-winning artist. He probably might win. He's going to win a Grammy for this one. And he shows that our paths are going to be different throughout this whole time, and throughout this album he showed how comfortable he was with self. So I mean, first off, me just talking about the album, it's a 10 out of 10. You don't find it's refreshing to feel something creative in the rap community after a while, after you're fed a lot of junk food music. And I love junk food music, by the way. Like, this is not me hating. I think Future had a great album this year. I think Ian had one of the best albums this year. Obviously, I listen to a lot of underground stuff that I won't mention right now because a lot of you guys don't know about that. And also, I'm trying to gatekeep, honestly. But I think just from the hip hop community, we haven't got an album this strong conceptually in a while. As far as where I would put this album on my album of the year rankings, it is number one for me. Billy had a great album this year. Faye Webster had a great album this year. Kali Uchis had a great album. Claro had a great album. Future, Ian, Party Next Door had great albums. But this was the best album to me. And I think when we talk about Tyler now, based off his rapping and based off his talent, based off the amount of ground he can cover as far as musical landscapes, he has to be top 5. As far as when we talk about the big 3, we throw Kendrick and J. Cole and Drake in there. But when we talk about who has been prevalent during that big 3's era, like if we had a KD, LeBron, and Steph, Tyler the Creator, and I'll throw Future in this as well. Tyler the Creator and Future have been doing it for as long as those guys have at the same level. Their discography is on the same level. In my opinion, Tyler, this is probably his second best album for me. I look at Igor in a very high regard. I look at Call Me If You Get Lost in a high regard too, and Flower Boy. So I don't know. I think his discography is strong. Future, we don't have to talk about how many hits Future has. That could be a whole different conversation. But those guys they're not labeled big 3 because the big 3 are like rappers. Like, you know what they give you. But Tyler is giving you some soul samples. He's giving you some old 80s synth. He's giving you rock. He's giving you all of that. And Future is more of a trap artist, so you can't really consider him when it comes to that. But these guys are easily the top 5 through 2010 to right now. That's the top 5 of the hip-hop community. There's no other. Kanye West, you could throw him in there because he was making music a little bit throughout the 2010s, but that's the list. And Tyler, wherever you want to put him, if he's your favorite artist, if he's number 1, I'm not mad at that because, once again, this guy is creative and he illustrates these concepts so beautifully. And yeah, so I just wanted to give you guys my review on that. No, a lot of guys or a lot of people might not watch, but I appreciate you guys if you made it to the end, if you tuned in. And yeah, it's something different today. Let me know if you guys enjoyed it. I'll give you more music reviews because I have a lot to say about music as well, even though we are a sports podcast and that's what we prioritize. But once again, Gavin will be back very soon. I appreciate you guys for the continued support, and peace out.